There's a certain kind of person that walks into a room and changes the energy, not because they're loud, not because they demand attention, but because they're locked in. Completely, totally, unshakably locked in. And everyone around them feels it. They feel it because it exposes something in them, something uncomfortable. Today we're talking about how to become that person, how to build a level of focus so deep, so disciplined, so stoic that the people around you start questioning themselves. Not because you're trying to make them feel bad, but because real discipline is contagious. And sometimes it stings before it inspires. Stay until the end, because the last lesson is the one that ties everything together. Welcome back. If this is your first time here, this channel is dedicated to one thing: helping you become the strongest, sharpest, most disciplined version of yourself. We pull from the greatest thinkers in history: Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, men who didn't just talk about focus, they lived it under impossible pressure. Today we're breaking down what Stoic discipline actually looks like in real life. Not the theory, the practice. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about what real focus actually is, because most people have it completely wrong. They think focus means sitting still and concentrating really hard. They download apps, they set timers, they make to-do lists, and then they wonder why it doesn't work. Real focus isn't a technique, it's a lifestyle. It's the result of hundreds of small decisions made every single day. Marcus Aurelius said it simply: you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Focus isn't about controlling your environment. It's about controlling your response to it. That's the foundation everything else is built on. Lesson 1. Eliminate before you organize. Here's something the productivity world doesn't want to admit. You don't need a better system. You need less stuff in your life, less noise, less obligation, less people draining your attention. The Stoics called this subtraction. Seneca wrote, "It is not that I'm brave enough to endure hardship. It is that I am wise enough to avoid most of it." Before you try to manage your time, ask yourself what you can remove. Which commitments aren't serving you? Which relationships are costing you more than they're giving? Which habits are stealing hours you'll never get back? Start there. Cut ruthlessly. Your willpower is at its peak. Your mind is sharp. Your resistance is low. And what do most people do with that precious window? They check their phone. They scroll. They ease into the day like they're afraid of it. The Stoics called this wasting the sacred hours. Epictetus taught that how you begin your morning sets the course of your entire day, your hardest task, your most important work, your biggest challenge. That goes first, not after coffee, not after emails. First. When you do this consistently, something shifts. You start to feel like you're ahead, because you are. And the people around you who are still hitting snooze, they feel it too. Lesson 3. Stop multitasking forever. I know you've heard this before, but hear it again because most people still aren't doing it. Multitasking isn't a skill, it's a myth. It's actually a way of doing several things poorly at the same time. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditation, confine yourself to the present, one thing, one moment, one task. When you give your full attention to a single thing, the quality of your work changes. It becomes sharper, deeper, more powerful. People can feel the difference between work done with full attention and work done in distraction, even when they can't explain why. Focus is a fingerprint. It shows up in everything you produce. Lesson 4. Train your attention like a muscle. Here's the hard truth. In today's world, your attention is under attack every second, every notification, every headline, every recommendation algorithm. They are all designed by some of the smartest engineers on the planet, and their only job is to pull you away from what you're doing. You cannot defeat that with willpower alone. You have to train. The Stoics practiced what they called prososh. It means paying attention to yourself, total continuous self-awareness. Start small. Pick one task each day. Give it your full undivided attention for just 25 minutes. No phone, no tabs, no interruptions. Just you and the work. Do that every day. Gradually extend the time. Over weeks, your ability to focus will grow like a muscle being trained in the gym, and people around you will start to notice. They'll wonder how you get so much done. The answer will be simple. You showed up every day and trained. If this content is adding value to your life, take 2 seconds right now. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. This community is built for people who are serious about growth, and I'd love to have you here permanently. Lesson 5. Guard your inputs obsessively. What you consume becomes what you think. What you think becomes what you do. What you do becomes who you are. This is not motivational fluff. This is neuroscience. This is Stoicism. Epictetus said, "Be careful to whom you listen, because their words become your thoughts without you even realizing it." Look at your daily inputs. What podcasts are you listening to? What accounts are you following? What conversations are you participating in? If the average of those inputs is mediocre, your focus will be mediocre. Start feeding your mind with things that sharpen it. Philosophy, strategy, history, science. Replace 1 hour of mindless scrolling with 1 hour of intentional learning. Watch how different you feel within 30 days. Lesson 6. Embrace boredom completely. This one is counterintuitive, and it's the one most people resist the hardest. The Stoics believed that boredom was not a problem to be solved. It was a space to be used. Marcus Aurelius would sit in silence regularly, not meditating in any formal sense, just thinking, deeply, slowly, without agenda. Today, the moment boredom appears, we reach for the phone, and in doing so, we rob ourselves of something critical, the ability to sit with our own thoughts. When you can be bored without panic, your focus transforms. You stop needing constant stimulation to function. You become self-sufficient in your own mind. That is a rare and powerful thing, and people around you who cannot sit still for 5 minutes will look at your stillness and feel deeply, uncomfortably inadequate. Lesson 7. Create non-negotiable rituals. Discipline is not about motivation. Motivation is a feeling. Feelings come and go. Discipline is about structure. It's about building rituals so ingrained that you do them without needing to feel like it. Seneca wrote, "Lay aside the common view of things. Gather and save the time which till lately has been forced from you." Every focused person you admire has rituals, a morning routine they never skip, a workspace they treat as sacred, an evening routine that prepares them for tomorrow. These aren't habits, they're declarations. Every ritual says, "This is who I am. This is how I operate. The world bends to my structure, not the other way around." Build your rituals. Protect them like your life depends on them, because in a very real sense, the quality of your life does. Lesson 8. Use discomfort as a compass. The Stoics had a practice called voluntary hardship. They would deliberately choose the harder path. Cold water instead of warm, silence instead of noise, restraint instead of indulgence, not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they wanted to train their response to difficulty. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When you feel resistance to focusing, that resistance is information. It's pointing to exactly where your growth is waiting. Don't run from discomfort, walk toward it. Every time you choose the harder thing, you build a version of yourself that is harder to distract, harder to derail, and harder to stop. Lesson 9. Stop explaining yourself. This is subtle but profound. Deeply focused people share one quiet trait. They don't spend energy justifying their habits to others. They don't explain why they go to bed early. They don't defend why they don't drink at the party. They don't apologize for leaving early to protect their morning. They just do it. Epictetus said, "Never explain your philosophy. Embody it." When you stop seeking approval for your discipline, something powerful happens. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop diluting your habits to make others comfortable. And the people watching you, without being told a single word, start to wonder what it would feel like to live the way you live. Your silence becomes the loudest statement you can make. Lesson 10. Play a longer game than everyone else. This is the one that ties everything together. The reason most people can't stay focused is because they're playing a short game. They want results now, feedback now, reward now. The Stoics played an entirely different game. Marcus Aurelius worked on meditations for years, not for publication, not for an audience, just for himself, just to become better. Seneca spent decades writing letters about how to live well, not to become famous, but because the work itself was worth doing. When you shift to a long game, distraction loses its power over you. The notification doesn't matter because you're thinking in years, not minutes. The opinion doesn't matter because you're building something that outlasts the conversation. This is the deepest form of focus, not just the ability to sit and work, but the vision to see far enough ahead that nothing short-term can pull you off course. So let's bring everything together. 10 lessons in Stoic discipline. Eliminate before you organize. Do the hard thing first. Stop multitasking forever. Train your attention like a muscle. Guard your inputs obsessively. Embrace boredom completely. Create non-negotiable rituals. Use discomfort as a compass. Stop explaining yourself and play a longer game than everyone else. Here's the final truth I want to leave you with. You will not become focused overnight. Nobody does. But every single day that you choose discipline over comfort, you are building something. A version of yourself that is sharp where others are scattered, present where others are distracted, grounded where others are anxious. That person doesn't try to make others feel lazy. They simply become so locked into their purpose that laziness has nowhere to hide. And when people see that, they feel it, they remember it, and sometimes it changes them too. Thank you for being here today. Drop a comment below and tell me which lesson hit hardest for you. I genuinely want to know, and if you're ready to go deeper into Stoic philosophy, the video on screen right now is exactly where you need to go next. Don't forget to subscribe. New content drops every week, built for people who are serious about becoming their best. I'll see you in the next one.